What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Hey, check this out. The complete guide to the YouTube algorithm. This is going to give you some pointers and everything to figure out how you should be trying to work this algorithm to your favor. Right after this intro, we're going to check it out.
Growth's got a formula most never learn. You don't need luck or talent, structure is earned. If you're ready to build and you know it's your turn, start with the 4 free videos, earn as you learn. Click on the more below to sign up.
That's right. Click on the link below to sign up for our 4 free videos, man. That's going to show you why you should join the Growth Formula team. Check it out, man. Hey, a complete guide to the YouTube algorithm. Let me give him a thumbs up. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out.
Why did your video get 300 views when a channel just like yours did a similar video and got 30,000 views? Why is it that a channel with 50,000 subscribers can outperform a channel with 5 million subscribers? Why would a new video do nothing and then 3 days later suddenly explode in views? Well, the answer to all 3 of those questions is the same. The algorithm isn't doing what you think it's doing. And that gap between what you think is happening and what's actually happening is costing you views, subscribers, and growth every single day. So today we're going to close that gap and explain the YouTube algorithm at 3 different levels: beginner, intermediate, and expert. Each one is going to go deeper than the last, and by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of this system than most creators on all of YouTube. So let's start with the basics, and this time we're not going to water it down like we have in the past to save time. The YouTube algorithm is not one thing. It's a collection of systems working together, each one with one job: find the right video for the right person at the right moment. That's it. And to do that, it asks 2 questions about every single video on the platform. Question 1, will this person click? Question 2, if they click, will they actually watch? Those 2 questions map to 2 numbers in your YouTube Studio dashboard right now: click-through rate, which is CTR, and average view duration, which is AVD. If you're a small channel trying to track as few numbers as possible, make it these 2 numbers. But here's what most beginners get wrong. They think the algorithm promotes their video to an audience. It doesn't. YouTube's own engineers have said this directly. The algorithm doesn't push videos to people, it finds videos for people. But even then, before the YouTube algorithm can find the right person for your video, it needs to understand what your video is actually about. Todd Bupre, YouTube's head of discovery, confirmed this publicly. Knowing a video is about home workouts or Minecraft isn't enough. There's only so much the algorithm can get from the title and description alone. It needs richer signals, consistency of language, clarity of framing, and real audience behavior to back it up. So it reads your title, your description, your chapters, it transcribes your audio, it watches who clicked, who stayed, who left. All of that becomes one signal that answers one question: who is this video for? And this is why some of the fastest growing channels on YouTube are built on radical simplicity. Let's take a look at the Organic Chemistry Tutor. The subject matter is genuinely hard: calculus, physics, organic chemistry, but every title is completely plain. How to find the domain of a function. How to solve quadratic equations. No metaphors, no mystery, just a direct description of exactly what the video teaches. The algorithm never has to guess who it's for. The result is over 10.5 million subscribers in one of the most technically demanding niches on the platform. But math is scary, so let's also take a look at Daily Dose of Internet. The channel itself is a complete signal. A quick dose of interesting internet content every day. The title, content, channel name, it's all one consistent message. YouTube never had to guess. That clarity, compounded across hundreds of videos, drives over 1 million views on every single upload. Contrast that with unclear signals. A creator titles a video, "This changed everything for me. Life hack." Shocked face in the thumbnail. 3 minutes of backstory before we get to the actual content. The algorithm genuinely can't tell if this is a vlog, a finance video, a lifestyle channel, and a confused algorithm doesn't like to take risks. This is why niche clarity matters so much early on. Every off-topic video essentially resets the picture YouTube is building of your audience. But every consistent video sharpens it, and we don't have exact numbers, but presumably 10 consistent pieces of content in a row starts to tell a story. Make it 50 and YouTube has a reliable model of your channel. Who watches? What do they care about? How do they behave? Now, once people click, you have to deliver, and this is where watch time and retention come in, but a lot of beginners confuse the two. Watch time is the total amount of minutes people spend watching. If 1,000 people each watch 5 minutes of a video, that's 5,000 minutes of watch time. YouTube cares about watch time on the platform because more watch time means more ad revenue. Retention, though, is different. It's the percentage of your video that the average viewer actually watches. If in a 10-minute video, people drop off after 4 minutes, that's 40% retention. YouTube shows this on a curve, and that curve tells a story. A steep drop in the first 30 seconds means your opening didn't deliver on what the thumbnail promised. A gradual slope is normal. But a sudden cliff halfway through the video means something specific happened. A topic shift, a tangent, a pacing drop. YouTube notices every single one of these. And YouTube doesn't look at retention in isolation. It compares your video to other videos of a similar topic and length. A 6-minute video with 60% retention can outperform a 12-minute video with 50%. Even though the longer one has more raw watch time. By the way, speaking of length in terms of content, one more thing to note here. YouTube recently announced that TV watch time had overtaken mobile for the first time ever. People are watching YouTube like they do Netflix, leaned back, long watch sessions. That's why the average video length from the top 100 YouTube creators has nearly doubled in recent years. If your audience watches on TV and your videos are 5 minutes long but have the potential to be longer, you might be leaving real watch time on the table. So the beginner framework is this: clarity first. Be crystal clear about what your video is, who it's for, and what you're promising. Then your thumbnail gets the click. Your opening keeps them watching. They watch as much as possible, earning you watch time, and the algorithm is taught who your videos are for. So by the next time you upload, a much clearer picture is painted for your channel. If you get all that right, you are no longer fighting with the algorithm. It is now a tool that you're using to your advantage. Moving on now to a different type of content creator, someone in the range of maybe 5,000 to 100,000 subscribers. If you're in this category, you understand CTR, you know what retention is, and you're doing the things you're supposed to be doing. And even still, it is very possible you feel stuck. If that sounds like you or a far-off future you don't want, then that's what this section is for. And let's start with something that most creators don't think about. Where are your views actually coming from? Open YouTube Studio right now. Click on Analytics, then Traffic Sources. You're going to see 3 main categories. Browse, that's the homepage. Suggested, which is the sidebar next to a video you watch. And search. Most creators look at the screen and think, oh, this is interesting data. It's not. Look beyond the face value. Each source tells you something completely different about how YouTube sees your channel, and each one rewards completely different content behavior. Browse traffic comes from your video showing up on somebody's YouTube homepage before they've searched for anything. They've just loaded the website. That's YouTube spending its most valuable real estate on your video, but there's 2 common misconceptions that are worth clearing up here. The first is that browse is only for the big channels, and it isn't. You've probably noticed small channels appearing on your home feed from time to time, and that right there is YouTube doing its early discovery tests for new content. What they're doing is seeding a new video to a small group of people whose watch history suggests that they would probably enjoy that kind of video. They do this for channels of all sizes, and that kind of makes sense because otherwise everyone would literally have 0 subscribers and that would be it. Speaking of subscribers, the second misconception is that browse is driven by subscribers. It is not. YouTube has shifted to a viewer history model. If someone has watched your last 2 videos and didn't hit subscribe, YouTube is going to put your next video on their home feed at some point anyway because they watched your last 2 videos. Meanwhile, a channel that has 1 million inactive subscribers isn't going to get that much browse traffic. Just having subscribers does not earn you browse traffic. Recent, consistent viewership does. Now, suggested traffic comes in play when your video is recommended alongside somebody else's video. For example, if you're watching this on a browser and you look off to the side, I think this side, there's going to be a bunch of videos over here. These are all suggested videos. I really hope they're on this side of the screen. Otherwise, I look very silly right now. If you're watching on mobile, you can scroll down and there'll be suggested videos at the bottom. I think this is the bottom. Most creators think getting suggested traffic is purely about a topic match. Make a video about the same subject as a larger channel and YouTube routes their traffic your way. That's partially true, but the updated reality is a bit more precise than that. Again, you can see this in play for yourself right now. Essentially, YouTube has shifted away from matching topics to matching sessions. The question it's asking now isn't just, is this video about the same thing? Instead, it's asking, if somebody watches video A, would they also like video B? Again, the difference here is subtle, but important. The clustering has also gotten more specific. It's no longer about categories like gaming or cooking. YouTube now groups by micro niches, specific combinations of topic, tone, and audience. A relaxing architecture channel might get suggested next to a productivity channel, not because the topics overlap, but because the audience is the same person. Which is awesome news because if your content fits that vibe, then you could end up appearing next to channels 10 times the size of yours. That is how small channels break through without having a single viral moment. Next up, there's search traffic, and this is pretty obvious. This is people searching for the thing that you talk about on YouTube. Search rewards clarity and consistency of language. You using the same words that your audience would use to describe a problem that your video solves. Search traffic can be slower, but incredibly durable. A well-optimized video can drive views for years. And now we get to talk about the metric that sits above all 3 of these, the one YouTube cares about more than all of them combined, and that is satisfaction. YouTube runs millions of viewer surveys every single day, randomly asking people what they thought of videos they recently watched. Those responses feed directly into the recommendation system. YouTube is not just measuring whether people watched, it's measuring whether or not they're glad they watched. I want you to search for a video called "We Sent Garlic Bread to the Edge of Space, Then Ate It" by Tom Scott. The title says exactly what it is. Someone put garlic bread on a weather balloon, sent it 35 kilometers into the stratosphere, brought it back down, then ate it. This is one of the most viewed videos on the entire channel with tens of millions of views. Let's imagine for a second that you only know the title of this video. What do you think the average YouTuber today would do with a video titled "We Sent Garlic Bread to the Edge of Space and Then Ate It"? Most creators making a video like that would probably do a whole bunch of stuff. They would film the entire planning process. They would vlog the journey to the launch site. They would drag out the suspense and turn a 6-minute concept into a 20-minute experience. Sure, this will add to the runtime of a video and potentially get you more watch time. Maybe people even make it to the end of that video. But with all of that padding, going from click to biting down on garlic bread might make people feel like they were a bit shortchanged, and when the time comes, they may leave a pretty mediocre review on that satisfaction survey. Meanwhile, here's what Tom actually did. The video starts with a piece of garlic bread, and within the first 5 seconds, it's already on its way to space. The promise made in the title is kept right at the front of the video. No unnecessary buildup, no filler, just the concept executed cleanly from start to finish. He sacrificed real watch time but gained something worth far more. Millions of people clicked, watched the whole thing, and saw something genuinely surprising and left feeling satisfied. This idea hopefully changes the way you think about creating content on YouTube. And I hope the takeaway here is, oh, I guess he's saying make shorter videos, because it's not. A video with strong watch time but low satisfaction can get suppressed over time. The point being is that every minute you add to your video should be worth the viewer's time. The ultimate goal is raising satisfaction. If somebody leaves your how-to video at the 3-minute mark because they got excited and automatically just wanted to try the thing they just learned from your video, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. The algorithm is getting smarter about context, so something like this no longer reads as a failure. This is what creators call good abandonment. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we get onto the expert level of the algorithm, and that is format saturation. If you've been using a consistent format with the same thumbnail style, same title structure, and same content angle, and recently it stopped working for you, there's a reason for that. And the clearest example out there in the real world right now is the 100 Days in Minecraft format. We believe a creator called Luke the Notable popularized this concept. Within months, the packaging became completely saturated. On the left side of the thumbnail, day 1, weak character. On the right side, day 100, glowing character. The title, I Survived 100 Days in Minecraft. And it worked brilliantly. Thousands of small and intermediate gaming channels copied it exactly, and for a brief window, they grew. Now imagine you're the YouTube algorithm and you have a Minecraft fans homepage to build out for them. Minecraft fans also like other stuff, so it's not just gonna be Minecraft videos on that feed. It's likely that the YouTube algorithm is only going to surface one 100 Days video on that home feed at that time. And we'll just imagine that it has 2 to choose from. A 100 Days video from a channel with 4,000 subscribers and a 100 Days video from Forge Labs, who has 6 million subscribers. If you're the algorithm, you don't have to flip a coin here. You're gonna default to the channel with the larger data set. YouTube has years of proof that Forge Labs keeps people watching and keeps them satisfied. The thing is, YouTube doesn't have just 2 candidates in that category to choose from. Go ahead and search for 100 Days of Minecraft right now. Those thousands of small channels are nowhere to be found, buried the moment the giants decided to start playing the same game. This templatization is at a breaking point, and the lesson isn't that complicated. If you look identical to a channel that is 10 times the size of you, the algorithm will just show the big channel instead. But there is good news, because the big channels are locked into their formats because their audience expects consistency. But you're not locked into anything. So find the angles that the big channels aren't covering. Adopt a thumbnail style that stands out against the clones, and framing that triggers genuine curiosity instead of format fatigue. YouTube will reward that because a refreshing video is exactly what the satisfaction algorithm is looking for. So here's one thing I want you to do this week. Open Studio, go to Analytics, hit Traffic Sources, and take a screenshot of that breakdown. Then ask yourself one honest question. Does what I'm creating actually match where my viewers are coming from? If browse is your biggest source, but you haven't posted consistently in weeks, then you are burning the most valuable real estate YouTube could give you. If search is dominating, but you're not able to turn those viewers into subscribers, then what you're doing is building someone else's library, not your own channel. But here's something we still haven't explained. Why is it that sometimes a video will do nothing, and then 3 days later, suddenly explode? And why does it sometimes feel like tiny channels are outperforming ones that are 10 times their size, and somehow yours isn't? The answer to these questions isn't the word luck. It's engineering, and that's what the expert section is for. So far, we've covered CTR, retention, satisfaction, traffic sources, and all of that is the interface layer. what you can see in YouTube Studio. This section is about what's running underneath all of it. A while back, a team of engineers at Google published a research paper explaining exactly how YouTube's recommendation system works at the machine learning level. It's publicly available. Most creators have never read it. We're going to walk through the key parts of it right now. The system runs as a two-stage pipeline. Every time someone opens YouTube, it has less than a second to decide what to show them, simultaneously for over 2 billion people, mind you. So the first thing it has to do is make the problem smaller. Stage 1 is called candidate generation. YouTube has over 14 billion videos. It can't score all of them for every user in real time. That would be computationally impossible. So instead, it uses a logic called co-visitation. People who watch video A tend to also watch video B. That pattern gets used to rapidly narrow the entire catalog down to a few hundred candidate videos per user. Your video doesn't get ranked until it makes the list, and if you post inconsistently across a vast array of unrelated topics, then the system can't find a reliable group of people to test you against. Now, for this behavior, you don't get penalized, but you do become what these engineers would call a null candidate. You are invisible to the pools where your audience actually lives. Ryan Trahan is a good real-world example of this. Today, he has over 23 million subscribers, but for a stretch of his career, his channel was completely stalling. Not because his videos were bad, but because the algorithm was simply confused.
I think it's very evident on my channel that I have pivoted so many different directions. I made a video copying Emma Chamberlain's Instagram photos, and then I kind of kept easing more into that like mainstream social media culture type of content. And then eventually I got into the commentary world, being inspired by people like Cody Ko.
Running vlogs for athletes, Emma Chamberlain style content, Cody Ko commentary, 3 completely different audiences on one channel. The system couldn't build a reliable fingerprint for him. He wasn't being penalized, he was just invisible. That was until he committed entirely to one format: narrative-driven budget and survival challenges. One audience, one consistent signal, every video pointing in the same direction. His channel broke out of its plateau and never looked back. The same algorithm, it didn't change. The data he was feeding it did. The system takes those few hundred candidates and scores each one. Watch time, retention, CTR probability, and satisfaction signals all get weighted together into a single predicted score. But the question it's really asking is this: if we show this video to a specific person right now, will they come back to YouTube tomorrow? YouTube calls this expected value over time. They would rather someone close the app early, feeling satisfied, and return the next day, than stay for 2 hours, feel drained, and never open it again. A flat retention curve caused by padding, where people stay but the satisfaction survey comes back weak, will eventually get deprioritized in favor of content that actually delivers. The system isn't fooled by watch time alone. Now, here's the mechanic behind the question we opened this entire video with. Why does a video do nothing for 3 days and then suddenly explode? Well, the system has a tension that's built into it, and YouTube's engineering team has a name for this: the explore exploit problem. Exploit means the system recommends a video it's already confident about. Proven performers with strong historical signals. Safe bets. But if YouTube only ever exploited, new videos would never surface, and the platform would stagnate. So it explores, giving a small slice of traffic to unproven videos as a test. Every video you upload gets an expiration window. The system shows it to a small initial audience and watches what happens. If the video overperforms relative to what the system predicted, allocation expands. More people see it. They respond well, it expands again and again. That expansion takes time, sometimes 48 hours, sometimes a week. But here's what makes this even more important to understand. The system's prediction for your video isn't based on some universal standard. It's based on your own channel's history. Your last 10 videos set the baseline expectation your next video has to beat to trigger expansion. You can see how this is playing out right now once again in the Minecraft niche. Captain Sparkles has 11.4 million subscribers, a genuine YouTube OG on the platform since 2010. Forge Labs has around 6 million, but Forge Labs' 100 Days videos routinely pull in millions of views, while Captain Sparkles is posting to over 11 million subscribers and getting a fraction of that per video. The subscriber count doesn't explain the gap, the baseline does. Most of Captain Sparkle's subscribers came from a different era of YouTube. When the algorithm tests his new content on that subscriber base, the vast majority of them scroll past it. If they scroll past enough, it's not going to regularly submit his content to them at all. The click-through rate drops against his own baseline expectation, and the system takes that as a signal to pull back distribution. A smaller channel with a highly engaged audience doesn't have this problem. so the baseline is just lower for them. The overperformance signal is easier to trigger, and when it triggers, expansion happens faster. This is why comparing your view count to channels that are larger than you isn't going to tell you anything of value. They're not your competition. Your competition is your own past performance. So here's one thing you can do this week that other creators are not doing. Open Studio, go to Content tab, switch to Advanced mode, and pull your last 20 videos. I want you to build a simple spreadsheet with 4 columns: title, CTR, average view duration, and views in the first 7 days. That average is your baseline, the exact bar the algorithm has set for you based on your history. Now find your outliers, which would be the 2 or 3 videos that have overperformed that baseline in all 4 categories simultaneously. The reason we can't look at just 2 of these categories is simple. Say one video has like a lot more views than usual, but a really low click-through rate. That means that it probably got a push from somewhere else, maybe a Reddit post or an email newsletter. But the videos that overperformed across all 4 categories at the same time, that's your signal. Was it the topic, the title structure, the thumbnail? Was it something you did differently in the first 30 seconds? The algorithm has already told you with this data that it is willing to bet heavily on that combination. Your job from here is to find out what those things were that worked and then find a way to repeat them deliberately. Don't chase the highest view count video on your channel. You need to be looking at the videos that perform the best relative to your own baseline. That is where the algorithm has the most confidence in you, and that is where you should be going next. But here's the thing, understanding the algorithm doesn't actually fix the problem that most creators are facing today, because the frustrating reality of YouTube is that sometimes videos that are genuinely good, well-researched, well-optimized pieces of content still seem to get no views, relatively speaking. And the reason that could be happening has nothing to do with what we covered today. If that sounds familiar to you, then I encourage you to watch this video next. You're not going to want to miss it.
Uncle Mike just learned a whole lot, man. I'm letting y'all know right now, YouTube is actually making it very difficult for content creators. Everybody all over the world, YouTube channel has went down. So I think our channel went down so much that YouTube is saying, wake up, Uncle Mike. Wake up, you got to do something about this. So we're doing something about it now. I'm going to get on up out of here. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Let me know if you're seeing like less views on your channel in the last 2 weeks. I mean, real less views. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.